Hello and welcome to the edition of Oceans, the Super Nerd Show. Hello, welcome. Now, today's rules. Whoever hits the button first may answer first. If your answer is incorrect, the next person answers. Rule number 2, you may refer to your notes. Question 1. Welcome, candidates.
Mom,
Oh, I'm sorry. Please introduce yourselves.
hi, I'm Aunt Scott McKinney, the top nerd in the world, and I've won every show I've been on.
I'm Trineo.
Okay, let's get started. The first question is, please explain what causes tides.
That was easy.
Yes, Trineo.
The moon.
That's only partially correct. And Scott?
That was easy.
The tides are caused by the moon's gravity and by the sun's gravity.
Very good. Question number 2. You discussed the differences between spring and neap tides. Please discuss the differences. Yes, and Scott.
The difference between the spring and neap tides. Spring tides come up more to the shore for high tides. And for low tides, it goes way down, and for high tides, it goes way up. And neap tides barely move, so there's not much of a difference in neap tides from low tide and high tide.
Very good. Okay. Now, please discuss the importance of the Gulf Stream and at least one other major ocean current.
That was easy.
Yes, and Scott.
The Gulf Stream is a strong, fast-moving, warm ocean current that originates in the Gulf of Mexico and flows into the Atlantic Ocean. It has a significant impact on the world's climate and weather patterns. And there's another current I'd like to talk to you about, and it's the North Pacific Ocean. It starts near Japan, comes around past California, back up to Japan.
I'm sorry, what is that? What is that called?
It is called the North Pacific Drift.
Very good.
And then the Gulf Stream is sort of, it comes up in the Bahamas and it comes around past Africa.
Ooh, welcome back. Okay, let's get started again. Now, how many geological characteristics are there of the ocean?
That was easy.
Very good, Ann Scott McKinney. Please answer.
There are 6 geological characteristics of the ocean. I have a diagram of it, actually. May you hold this? You're holding it down. Okay, so first we'll start off with the continental shelf. The continental shelf is part of the continent that's underwater. Once it's the underwater part of the continent, and then this drop is the continental slope. The continental slope is sort of like a drop down to the bottom of the ocean. Then this thickened area is a continental rise. It's from the sediment that falls down to the bottom of the ocean and collects up. And the continental rise can get pretty thick. Then there is an island. Islands is pretty much like a seamount, but it comes up out of the water. And lots of people live there. Actually, there are some islands in the Bahamas. Then there's a trench. It's probably the deepest parts of the ocean. Trenches is where it goes down very far. And actually, the farther you go down, the more the pressure increases. Then there's a seamount. That's like a mountain underwater, but it quite doesn't reach the top. But if it did, it was an island. Then there's an abyssal plain, a flat land of a flat land, or a flat part of the ocean, on the bottom of the ocean. Then the continental rise. The continental rise is pretty much what I said over here. It's the sediment that falls down to the bottom.
What's up?
Continental slope. The drop down to the bottom of the ocean. Continental shelf. The underwater part of a continent. Then the bottom of pretty much the floor of the ocean is called the basin.
Very good. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, now for our next question. Please define salinity.
That was easy.
Yes,
Salinity
Trineo.
is the amount of salt in the water or soil.
Very
I
good.
would like to add something to that.
Yes.
The farther you go down into the ocean, the more salt there is.
Oh,
The
good.
saltier it gets.
More salinity the deeper you go. That's interesting. Okay, thank you very much. The next question. Please describe or show what happens when very salty.
What happens when you pour very salty water into less salty water? Let's say this container with the shark in it is salty water, and this is very unsalty water. So you pour them, and the salty water would go to the bottom, and the fresh water would come to the top.
Thank you. The next question is, please discuss how water depth affects animal and plant life.
That was easy.
Yes?
How the water depth, because there's so much pressure, there's not that much air in the water, it's hard for animals to live the deeper it goes, and it's colder.
Okay, would you please also explain, Ann Scott McKinney, since you pressed the easy button first, how temperature affects animal and plant life?
It is so cold down there. Not many animals can live.
How does pressure affect animal and plant life?
It's so hard to pressure. Sorry. It's so hard to pressure. It would just scrunch you up into a little ball. Say a human goes down to the bottom of the ocean without any gear, it would just crush him up.
Okay. How does available light affect animal and plant life?
Available lights, the light doesn't go very deep, and lots of plants and animals need lights. And
Okay.
there's no lights at the bottom of the ocean.
How does salinity affect plant and animal life?
It's so salty down there. Lots of animals can't live down there either. Do you know when you go in the ocean and once in a while you'll accidentally drink some salty water? That's nothing compared to the bottom of the ocean. It's very salty.
I thought animals could live in salty water, though.
They can, but very few live at the bottom of the ocean.
Okay, very good, very interesting. Now let's discuss ecosystems. You described or showed an ocean food web to us at commercial time. Could you please show us again?
Well, a food web is sort of like the top of the food web. The top animal doesn't get eaten, and then the bottom animal does. So
It's a continuous cycle.
Okay. Give us some examples of some animals in that cycle.
let's say there's plankton, small fish, and people. So, the fish would eat the plankton, and then the boats, or the people in the boats, would get their nets and capture the fish and eat the fish. And humans are one of the top predators.
Very good. Oh, and gentlemen, and welcome back. Okay, next question, please. Are you ready, job candidates, for the Nerds Are Us filming? Okay. Please tell us, or if you can on your smartphone, share a picture or description of one unusual or interesting ocean, plant, or animal, and tell us some facts about it. Yes, Trinae.
Is one of them crocodiles?
Well,
Actually, I have a better one.
okay. Let's go with Ann Scott McKinney. Thank you, Trinae, for participating.
Mine is very interesting. Mine is a Yeti crab. This picture, and the Yeti crab lives in the Pacific Ocean. His hairy pincher arms host colonies of bacteria, and a whole new family of animal had to be created to classify it. And that's my description about the Yeti crab. And one more thing, the Yeti crab is very unusual. Usually you will never see it.
Well, that's interesting. Could you tell us a little bit more, Ann Scott McKinney, since you seem to be so informed? Tell us a little bit about the ocean. Show us where they are and how deep they are, please.
The oceans,
The crocodile's
the
green.
Pacific Ocean. It is 15,215 feet deep as its average depth. Then the Atlantic Ocean is 12,881 feet deep as its average depth. And then the Indian Ocean, that's over here and a little over here, because this is supposed to be a round globe. The Indian Ocean is 13,002 feet as its average depth. The Southern Ocean can get up to 13,100 to 16,400 feet. Then the Arctic Ocean, that's up here, sort of, can get up to 3,953 feet deep.
How many oceans is that total?
5.
Are you sure?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. The next question is, please describe the 3 factors that affect ocean currents. Trinae, do you happen to know?
The clouds?
Trinae, may you please repeat your question? I didn't quite hear.
Yes. Please describe the 3 factors that affect ocean currents.
That affects ocean currents, the 3 factors?
Welcome back. Most of the world is made out of water. Most of the world is oceans, and when the currents are caused by wind, temperature, and saltiness. Now, people can make good impactions and bad impacts. Some bad impacts is light pollution, affects sea turtles, boat propellers, kill animals, people throw trash out in the ocean too. Some positive things people can do for the ocean is clean up after themselves, recycle, and pick up